Everybody, it's Big Al with more content from Lord of the Rings Rise to War. This video I am going to talk about Eowyn. So I'm sure this video is going to have some controversy with it. She is not really used as a main fighter in PvP battles. There are some people that do use her for PvP, but in the masses, in the meta, she definitely is not in there. So I'm going to say that now. And I'm sure some people that do use her will comment on her. And again, this is just my views on her, how I would build her, and what I would use her for. And keep in mind that I'm also thinking about the free-to-play players and the newcomers. So let's pull her up. So obviously she's a man commander. Okay. She has to do with horses. Okay. Her support skills have to do with horses, and generally that's what kind of troops you're going to use with her. So there's a couple of different ways to build her. And the first one I'm going to go through, because I already have it set up, is her support role. And I use her as a support commander in my mob army and my tile army. I use her with Theoden, Imrahil, and Denethor. A lot of people remember when 2.0 first came out, the Horse Lords, it was kind of like a cheat code where they could take anything and they lived forever. But because we are Gundor, I am using a lot of cavalry, so I have her doing mobs and tiles for me in that same army. So her first skill is Shield Maiden. Medium units in 3 allied formations have a 40% chance to gain defense plus 42 each round, and it's modified by the command stat. Okay. Now, when you get to level 5, the chance increases to 50%, and at level 10 affects units of all physique types. So, she doesn't have to be used with horses, with medium units. Medium units are generally horses, but there are a couple, like the half trolls, that are medium units as well. So, plus 42 defense, and that's great. The next support skill would be her White Lady of Rohan. Restores 65% hit points to mounted units in 3 allied formations each round. And it's modified by focus stat. And then there's a 50% chance to restore hit points an additional time. And mounted units in the commander's formation gain stun immunity for 1 round. So both of these skills fire off every round at the beginning. So those are great support skills for cavalry, because this one, White Lady of Rohan, is specific to mounted units. And if you ever click on mounted units, it will give you a list of all of the units that are mounted that this affects. And yes, war chariots are on there, which, if you're playing non-role play, could come in very handy. So those are her 2 support skills. As a free-to-play player, lower spender, I do believe she's worth ascending because of her support skills. Early on game, especially if you're Gundor or Rohan and you're using horses, she can help you grow a lot faster. Her next 2 skills, Durnhelm, and maxed out, it gives up to 360% physical damage to 1 formation. She knocks the target's initiative down by 10, and then damage dealt is plus 10% for 1 round. And this fires off in rounds 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Next is Swordmaster. If this one is capped out, you get up to 250% physical damage to 2 enemy formations. You can get commander attack plus 5, And level 10 deals an additional 50% damage once to undead troops. Again, if you click on it, it'll show you what troops are considered undead. So, right now I have her set up for support. I went here to get the target's initiative down by 10%. I could have maxed it out, but I wanted to get a couple points into Swordmaster to get more damage dealt. And again, the reason I do this is because I'm using her on mobs and tiles. So I'm going to talk about the gear that she would use, okay? Being in that support role, she needs gear just like Frodo or Falcon. She needs unit defense and she needs command. Command being the more important. And then her one skill, Lady of Rohan, also modifies off of focus. So what I do is I put this crossbow on her because it does give some focus, it gives unit defense, and it gives command. Inside that mob army, she is the lead because I use her as the tank. Okay? Next, you're going to want the Horseman's Helm for purple gear. It gives you the commander attack, it gives you the unit defense, it gives you command. Commander attack is going to help because when she gets higher in level, she is going to have a skill that gives damage. And then, same thing, I'm using her as the tank in my mob formation. I want unit defense. So I have a Durance plate. The other choice, you could use the Superior Habak, gives you the most unit defense. Or you could use, let me go to a blank one, a Hunter Skin. It gives her focus and it gives unit defense. Not as much unit defense, but I don't think the modification for the focused is that important. That's why I only use the crossbow. It gives a little bit of focus, and when it's full, it gives nine focus. So then for the accessory, again, you want something that gives you command. I have unit defense and commander attack on here. The Belt of the Citadel. And this was just an extra piece of gold items that I have because I need one more gold item before I can upgrade probably my Palantir next. The Drums of Moria would work. High unit defense. You could also use something like the Athelian Rope, gives commander attack, and hold on, let me scroll down. Oh, I don't have any. You could use the Athelian Rope too, but like I said, I prefer the Drums of Moria on her. Fiddle would work as well. You're getting focus and you're getting unit defense and command. So you have many options when it comes to making her as a support. Now we're going to talk about making her a attacking commander, a damage dealer. Okay. She can be successful with this with high levels, I believe. High respect levels. Early on in the season, maybe. I prefer her as a support. But when you're doing that, you're going to want to put the skills in Durnhelm first. And the reason for that is right here. That level 10 skill. Damage dealt plus 10 for one round. So that's going to fire off in 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. This one fires off in the same rounds. But I'm going to get Durnhelm to fire first. That's why I put the points there. And then you'd max out her points. So next, kind of up to you whether you'd use the medium units and 3 allied formations plus defense. And once you get it leveled up, it's 50% chance. Or White Lady. White Lady, you have to have mounted units. Shield Maiden, once you get it maxed out, can be any physique, but you're pretty much looking at horses as well for this skill. It does modify off command, but as a damage dealer, you're not going to have as much command. So I still think that I would go White Lady of Rohan. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but it's also because this season I am Gundor, and early on I'm using horses. Okay, I know this is medium units and it still does, but there's a 50% chance to gain. I still prefer the healing. It's not much healing, but it does get there. It does help, especially trying to conserve troops early season. Now let's talk about gear. So, gear. She is going to be, again, we're setting her up as a damage dealer. So, let me go down here. Of course I don't. I have all my troops out right now. So, you're pretty much looking at a battle axe, okay, is the best in slot purple gear for her. Gold, best in slot, is the Axe of Khazad-dûm. So there's two options. You could also use like a Blazing Tongue because you get attack and focus and commander damage. Because remember, on damage dealers, you always want commander damage in that weapon slot. Okay? The helmet, you're going to be looking at a full helm for your best in slot purple. Gives you the highest commander attack out of purple, and then you get some unit defense. A couple other options. Gold, you can use the Cask of Pride, which gives the most commander attack. You can use like a Cask of the Submerged Isle. A lot of people, once they get higher respect and they have extra gold, they use command helms with unit defense just to help protect their troops. For the armor, you would be looking at a Scale Mail. Highest commander attack among the purple gear. And then as far as gold, you could do a Berserker's Raiment. There's a couple others that you could do, and I'm just drawing a blank. There's the golden skin that would work. And then for an accessory, as a damage dealer, you want extra damage. For gold, you're looking at the Palantir. The Drums of Barad-dûr are the best two for damage dealers. Probably the drums would be better than the Palantir for her if you're using that healing skill, so it does get a little modification. For purple gear, you would want a Bone Talisman. That gives the most commander attack for purple gear. If not the Bone Talisman, then the Worn Out Smoking Pipe, because that gives commander attack. Unfortunately, with purple gear, there is no purple item that gives commander damage for the accessory slot. So, those are the two ways I would build her. The support or the damage dealer. As a damage dealer, she's not going to outdo a lot of the other damage dealers, until she is higher respect. I'm going to show you her relic. So, it's a shield, Rohan's Refuge. As always, you have regular stats. You got hit points, commander attack, commander defense, unit defense. The ability, in the first 4 rounds, it reduces the range damage received by this formation's melee units by 5%. And that obviously modifies. Or not modifies, can be refined. So, her relic, it would just be for the extra stats. Shield Maiden's cover. I mean, yes, that does help a little bit, but honestly, there's too many variations. When you're fighting a lot of whales or anything in PvP, they're going to be using like all guardians or half trolls in there. They're using more melee units than the range units. Against gills are mostly going to have, their formation will have bow knights. But, so, again, I like her as a support. I think she does her job very well as a support in a mobs and tile army. I do not use her for PvP because I have Gimli, Dane, Aragorn. I would use Aragorn and Dwalin before her. But again, for newcomers. Is she worth ascending? Yes, but I think Dwalin and Boromir are more important to ascend to legendary before Eowyn. I will never ascend her to mythic. I have too many other commanders that I would want to get there. But that's the video on Eowyn. I hope it's been informative. I hope you guys learned something. Please like and subscribe the channel. Definitely need to get my subscribers up. And as always, make the most out of what you got.